Hello guys, Charles here and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk to you about something I've referenced a lot in previous videos, but I've never actually started to outline how this works. So I want to give you the sort of foundation of this topic today, and that is Mike Longo's rhythm pile. Now, for those who, like I have never heard of Mike Longo, he was Dizzy Gillespie's longtime pianist and musical director. And the great thing about Mike Longo is he was a really passionate educator, and he really kind of interviewed in great depth Dizzy Gillespie to really get to grips with what was going on in Dizzy's playing, what really made Dizzy's playing so unique. And there's so much content that Mike created. And what we're going to talk about today is covered in one of Mike's DVDs, which I believe are still available, even though Mike is no longer with us. So it may be difficult finding these, I'm not too sure. So Mike and Dizzy's rhythm pile is based on African drumming and African rhythms. And it's essentially similar to topics like metric modulation that you'll have heard before. But the idea is it's really going to help your rhythm playing. It's really going to help your phrasing. And we'll talk about how to actually apply this in future videos. But for today, it's just giving you the outline. So the pile is several different time signatures essentially stacked on top of one another, which we need to train moving between. Now, everything sits over what Mike considers to be jazz 4/4 time, which is mathematically 12/8 time. But 4 beats in a bar. And each one is divided in 3. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And of course, that's basically our swing feel. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. That's what we think of as swing in jazz, 4/4 jazz time. Now we're going to superimpose different time signatures over the top of that, and we want to practice that against the 12/8 time, and then we want to practice superimposing the different time signatures onto one another. But we'll just go against 12/8 time today. So easier to demonstrate than it is to talk about it. So let's dive straight in. Now the first division is 6/8 time. And this is the fact that each of these 4 beats is divided into 3. So we just get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that gives us our 6/8 time, dividing each of those 4/4 beats into 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. So most of us find that one pretty easy to do. Now the next one is 3/4 time, which is mathematically the same. 6/8 and 3/4 gives us mathematically the same number. The difference is that rather than having 2 groups of 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, we're going to have 3 groups of 2. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2. But we're not going to change the beat. So it's got to be 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2. Now you don't need to count the beat as it's going by like I'm doing there. It can just be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And I'm keeping that against my jazz 4/4 time. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, many of you will know that as being a hemiola, and that's what happens when we swap from 6/8 to 3/4 time. It's essentially when you take the same number of notes, but you choose to group them a different way. So we're taking the same 6 notes, but rather than grouping them as 2 groups of 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, we're into 3 groups of 2. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2. I've got to learn to feel swapping between those. So that would be something useful to practice. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. Now we've got those basic building blocks, the groups of 3 and the groups of 2. The rest of them are basically just jumbling those up in different ways. So our next one is mathematically 5/4 time. Now in 5/4 time, we don't just have 8/8 notes in a bar, we've actually got 10. So in 5/4 time, we've got a few different ways to group those. Now what we're going to do to get up to 10 is we're going to have 3, 3, 2, 2. 3, 3 gives us 6, 2, 2 gives us 4, therefore 6 add 4, I hope we're all on board, is 10. So we're basically doing a 6/8 bar and then 2 2s after it to give us going from that compound feel to the hemiola feel. Feels like this. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. So you'll notice that every 3 times, every 3 bars, I sync back up with my 4/4 feel, which I hope you can hear clearly enough here. So every 3 bars, I'm going to land back on my 1 2 3, which is where I started. Just notice that after 3 bars. So we've got 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3, and I'm back in sync. So these are pretty tough at first. Once you get them, you kind of get all of them. So I did practice these for a while, but I've now got the feel I can keep that 4/4 feel going against these different variations of the hemiola and the compound feel. Just to be clear, when I keep saying compound feel, I mean swing feel, dividing the beat into 3s. So next up is 7/4 against our 4/4 feel. Now, mathematically, 7/4, we just double it, 14/8. So we've got 14 eighth notes in each of these bars, and we're going to group these 3 3 4 4. So we're going to give ourselves 2 groups of 3, 2 groups of 4, and that's going to give us a 7/4 feel. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Get the idea with that one. So we've got 2 groups of 3, 2 groups of 4. Now the final time signature in the rhythm pile, Mike's written as 2/4 and semiquavers, but he wants you to feel these semiquavers as eighth notes. Basically, I think he just didn't want there to be another 4/4, which is why he's done it this way. But we're still thinking eighth notes, really, in terms of the tempo. Bit confusing, you don't need to understand that. Long story short, it's a group of 3 and a group of 5 now, which adds up to 8 in a bar. Therefore, it's really 4/4, but we've notated it as semiquavers so that we don't end up with 2 4/4 time signatures. Remember, we've got our original jazz 4/4 time signature. This one we're thinking of as being a 2/4 time signature in semiquavers. 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 1. I'm back in time. So those are the 5 time signatures that we're overlaying over our jazz time, which again is basically 12/8. So that was 6/8, 3/4, 5/4, 7/4, and arguably 4/4 again, but we'll call it 2/4 because that's what Mike did and he knows a lot more than we do. So those are our time signatures that we're superimposing over our crotchet beat, but it's a jazz crotchet, so it's really 1.5. So looking ahead, thinking about the actual application of this, we'll cover this in far more detail in a future video, but basically all of this was eighth notes. So the point of this is most of bebop and most of even modern day jazz is built off the back of eighth notes. We've got these constant chains of eighth notes. If we just have da 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 da, this monotonous eighth note thing going on, it's very dull. Now, we can change the note divisions, we can use other notes than eighth notes, but again, stylistically, we like using eighth notes in jazz. And the solution is, therefore, to group the eighth notes using either dynamics or pitch. And so this constant chain of monotonous eighth notes becomes an interesting grouping of notes because we use these different time signatures to accent the different groupings. I hope that makes sense. Again, we'll discuss this more in a future video. So as always, I'd recommend you track down Mike's own stuff. This is a very brief overview. He's churned out loads of educational material, so check out Mike Longo's stuff. He does have his own website. Like I say, I've struggled to actually buy some of his books recently since his passing, so I don't really know if there's someone running that site. Maybe if you do know, you could comment down below and let us know where we can easily buy Mike's stuff nowadays. If you did find that one useful, please do give it a like, subscribe, ding that notification bell, and share with any of your friends who you think would benefit from practicing their time signature superimpositions. And as always, I hope you're all doing very well, getting plenty of practice in, and I very much look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers!